All right, welcome to video one of Stray Dog Syndications LLC 10x programming. We're going to be deploying a live full stack web page today. I have my partner, Mia Mausi Smith, over here riding shotgun as we set up this demonstration of 10x capabilities. I just want to point out that this is not technically vibe coding because we do have programming experience, and so it's not a lovable app. As you can see from my screen, I am running multiple IDEs, and for today's purposes, I'm only going to run four. I am running Claude Code, Kilo Code, Windsurf Cascade, Coder Quest, and Trace Solo as my agents. Right now, I'm going to push all the configurations that I just added. So you see in here, I have all the phase one documentation that I started so that my partner can see this once I push it up to the repository. Uh, Mia, let me know when you get that.
Okay.
Then once you have your repo and your VS Code up and running, open up your terminal and let me know when you're ready to get started. And we will begin this deployment. So ideally, we're going to go from start to finish on this recording so that you can see how I do this structured as a 10x engineer. I'm using Perplexity Pro, Claude Pro, Gemini Pro to do the majority of my LLM research. And then from there, I build prompt engineers for the different agents. So as you can see with the rundown right here, Coder is going to have its own tools and what it's good at. I like using Tray for the rapid prototyping, as you can see right here. So you're going to see that I'm going to give it a lot of automated tasks. Windsurf is going to be where I'm going to be doing a lot of the integration. And then, of course, VS Code is going to be doing my heavy lifting with my linting and a lot of my uh, error checking and everything. I'm also going to have Mia doing a secondary pass with her VS Code, looking for any errors and dealing with stuff while I do the majority of the orchestration on this end so that she can be kind of a quality control. From
Okay, it's
there,
open.
all right, so now that you're ready, from there, I'm going to deploy this website onto Vercel so that I can have it live on the web for the client to review the MVP. And then from there, we're going to go into the next stage of development. So this is a website for a nonprofit that's going to be doing fundraisings. The nonprofit is called Lead by Example, the local organization that we're doing this for to raise awareness of their attempts to reduce the recidivism rate in juvenile offenders. So one of the things we're going to do is modularize a fundraising portion on this website so that they can archive the fundraisers as they're finished and have them as kind of milestones to show the organization's progress. So as you can see right now, really all I have is docs and the assets. Over here in my main VS Code, I have the client assets. So this gives me a lot of the iCloud photos and movies and stuff that the client shared with us to put onto the website so that we can have a nice little carousel with a call to action to show the community at work. Let's see here. And then other than that, I haven't really done anything except for put a bear skeleton up. So you're going to watch us go pretty much from start to finish. So are you ready, Copilot?
Yes.
All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so let's get started here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this artifact so that Mia can also use it. And then Sending you the link in Slack. That way you can follow along step by step and make sure that I don't get lost when I start doing all these phases. So this got moved. Kind of weird doing this like this. You're gonna have to bear with me because normally I'm doing this at 3 in the morning with my music blaring. So I'm going to try to talk this out as I go. So I see coder is right here. We're going to start with coder. Going to give it the action plans, and then I'm going to find the actual artifact for coder. For the restrictions, I generally publish the artifacts, and that way I can give it the link and have it refer to it. So that, as you can see down here, I'm going to give it the link. And then the important part of the prompt engineering is I want to give it clear instructions. One of the most important keyword instructions is think step by step for complex problems. Hard to type today. Next, I wanted to use best programming practices, including proper separation of concerns. Now, this is where I'd like to point out that this makes it different from vibe coders, because vibe coders are just going to use natural language to tell the LLM what it is that they are trying to achieve. I'm going to be giving it actual technical instructions, proper separation of concerns, standard naming conventions, et cetera, and so forth, so that it stays up to company standards and I have to do less linting and BA will have to do less going back and cleaning things up. Because if you do spaghetti code, you're going to end up with 18,000 lines of garbage. Right, Mia?
Yes.
What do we say when we're talking to Claude?
We have to give them really good instructions,
Good
and we have
input
to
in.
ask them to think garbage in, garbage out.
There you go. Garbage in, garbage out. That's what we're looking for. All right. So here we go. The coder, he's going to get started. Next, we're going to go back to master and we're going to get Trey going. So now we have Trey going. You execute. And another thing I'd like to point out is I have built in here with my agents parameters, rules, guidelines, strategies, implementation guides. So before I even turned this on, I went in here into my framework and built a set of guidelines for what this is going to do. So as you can see, like it is going to be doing the implementation guide and only coming to me for things that needs direct confirmation from me as the orchestrator. So next, we're going to switch into solo mode. What I like about solo mode, even though it's still in development, is it can handle a lot of your smaller tasks autonomously. So now that I have that, go over here, we're going to grab the tray prompt. We're going to publish the artifact, copy the link, going to give it the link. And then again, we're going to do a set of parameters. So think step by step. I have several builders built into this one. So those are MCP servers. If you're unfamiliar with MCP servers, it's a little bit different from what you're probably used to using with the LLM. So it's a little more complicated but once you get it set up with the different libraries, it really helps rein in what your agents are going to do over here. Because the problem with the LLMs, and Mia can attest to this, is they're always going to give you an answer. They cannot tell you no. They cannot disappoint you.
Except for Siri.
Right. Well, that's not an LLM. That's more of a
I know it's an AI agent, but still.
somebody's a little mad at their Siri today. You're off. Let's see what's going on over here. We got a fail. Still generating. All right, so we'll come back to you. All right, so now that we're done with Coder, go back over here. Next on the list, we're gonna get Windsurf going. Windsurf's gonna do a lot of our integrations. So we're gonna go over here with Cascade. And so here, publish the artifact. One of the good things now is you'll notice that Claude has now gone over into the next horizon where it actually has persistent memory. So in the projects, one of the things I like to do is for each client and each web page, I build a project. And in this project, I have all of my history, my repositories, everything that I'm doing. You can see right now we're only using 3% of the project capacity. And as I get farther, I'm going to tailor the responses and tell them, don't bother me for this. Always use best practices, things like that, so that we will continue on. So let's see if that's the right one, or did I get lost when I was talking here? Let's published. Yep, copy link. All right, just to make sure. All right, so again, link. Now all right, so Windsurf, you're ready to go. So my name is actually shooting. And a lot of this is going to be very repetitive, so don't be scared to watch this on like 2x speed. Most of it is just going to be orchestration. All right, so now the last thing we got to do is the VS Code. And the great thing about VS Code is it doesn't have a character restriction like these agents. So I can literally just come in here. And in fact, I'm actually going to use a little bit more refined guy over here because this is going to be my more important stuff. So I'm using what's called kilo code, and I'm going to be using the DLM 4.6 because it actually is a little bit more efficient. So we're going to put that guy in, let him rock and roll. And so there. And the next set of phase development. Nice. So we got, so as you can see over here, now we're really just going to just start getting the orchestration part. So we've got 4 out of 8. We got the ENB being created. We're initializing the TypeScript path aliases. We verify the dev server runs successfully. Now we're doing the type check over here. So you can see it's going to be doing components. We're fixing all of that to get the TypeScript errors in there. Over here on this one, we are now going to accept everything that it's doing right here. And we're going to go ahead and begin building the project using this. So the think step by step command is important because this will help you reduce your token utilization by having come back and telling it to continue, continue to continue. So it will try to optimize its request. What am I looking at? Oh, you can just talk to me, honey. All right, so phase one complete. How's that? Does that sound better?
Yeah, you sounded really fuzzy there,
All right.
and there was like just extra noise. So I just hope people can hear you clearly.
We'll run a filter on it when we get done. All right, so the first set of commits should be synchronized. So do a git pull and let me know what you're seeing so far. Mostly, I want you to go through the terminal and like check different components and look for, like the problems part where I showed you. Because now we have the node modules are in place and the setup script is in place and we're starting to build the components and the hooks. And I'm going to start the first deployment on Trey to see what we got going on there. And then over here with Kilo Code, you see I'm building the components in the source directory. Now we got Windsurf going. All right, so Trey is compiling successfully on the deployment over here. I do have the CLI installed, so you can see that that's going to return positive on that. Code request is running in the terminal, making sure that the node version and the npm version are up to date. So we got step one complete right there. So you see, once you start getting the commands in, it starts cascading where you just move from section to section. And then over here, I'm going to be continuing with my commit generations. So next commit of commit. And for any real heavy lifting, I will be switching to Git Kraken. So let me go ahead and get that open over here. There he is, popping up a little squiddy. So we're going to run the npm install on the virtual environment over here. Let's do the running. Make the changes over here. All right, so this is how I'm going to be able to follow. And as you can see in this tree right now, only I have been committing, but once Mia starts doing changes, I will be able to see her tree branch off and I'll be able to pull and push and bring everything in. So we're going to stage all the changes here. Looks like we're in the right project. Example. There we go. All right, there we go. Now, there we go. So we get cracking. I like this because you can, as you can see, you can track the locals, the remotes, the patches, pull requests. Got a lot of AI to help with the commit messages. Review the change. Yeah, so on your end, what you're going to want to do, baby doll, is you're going to go in here and tell your guy to install from the packages. I believe it should be, yeah, package JSON. It will give you everything you need to set up your virtual environment over there.
Okay.
All right. And you can speak. You don't have to keep texting me. I can hear you. In fact, a little dialogue will help since I can't have my music on.
Okay.
All right. These will get easier as we do them, I think. Uh, quick shout out to the alumni network that has pushed us into having to do this. So one of my remote instructor compatriots, Mark Velasquez, is looking forward to seeing this because he said nobody quite codes this way. I don't know why. Maybe it's just our ADHD. We're able to bounce around with the tasks a little bit better. Other people seem to get overwhelmed with it. So as you can see over here, Trey has completed all of that. So let's take a look at the live application, see what we got. All right, so I'm going to send you the link to the Vercel app and you're going to start the UX UI, all right?
Okay.
So you have your color palette and everything set. And this is where I want you to really focus on establishing your front end.
Okay.
All right, because I'm going to work on the rest of the back end. There you are. Wave to the camera. You're on the camera. Hello. No, not going to wave. All right, so here in the thread, that should pull you to the live website.
Yeah, I see the same thing.
Okay, so this is where you're going to start branching off because
Okay.
none of this follows your palette, right? So in the docs under phase one, you'll find everything that we put together when we spoke to the client. So just
Okay.
go from there and use that to explain to Kilo and Copilot step by step what you want implemented because you already have all of your markdown over here written out.
Mhm.
And then just start going through and then pushing and committing as you go so that we can see it live update. And then just let me know if you get snagged or anything, and if you see anything that I'm doing that's causing any errors.
Okay.
All right, I'll be working on the back end over here. We'll meet in the middle. Now I got my run dev going over here. Next. All right, so now for phase 4, the archive section. Going to publish this artifact. So one of the reasons I like solo is over here, I can give it several artifacts and tell it to just take out what it can and just work piece by piece, especially when we reach session limits like that. So we're going to do as much as we can with these phases and then probably pause the video. But we should have at least a full deployment by the end of this video. All right, advanced phases part 2. Right now, we're going to get all the framework in, and then we can just go back and fine tune it with the tools. I'd like to point out that one of the reasons that this is going to be on the 5% side of the AI bubble that everybody's talking about right now is we have adaptability, memory, and multitask going on. And this is where a lot of the other things fall short. In like the recent MIT evaluation that they just did on this whole vibe coding 10x applied AI solutions engineering, whatever label you want to give it, that this new way of doing things. Yep. Autonomously. Think, step, step, All right, so phase 1, we already have the skeleton up. Not pretty, but it's there. Now we're going to start bringing in the TypeScript components. The Tailwind is going to start bringing in some of the CSS. Because of compatibility issues, I've already told it to only use Tailwind 3 because we're going to be using Vite, React, and Next.js as our framework for this application.
Babe,
Yeah, talk to me. What's going on?
okay, so I just created a new project folder in my Claude.
Mhm.
So what do I want to give him? I want to give him everything that you just gave me
Yes.
to start him up with.
Yeah. Give him the repository and then add your phase 1 documents to his memory.
Okay.
And then you're going to in the instructions, you could have Perplexity write together a set of instructions for him about what you want to do on the front end, about the glassmorphic, about the sticky nav, you know, all of that.
Okay. Can I give the mock outline that I proposed to Ron earlier today?
Yes,
Do I want to
definitely.
use that too?
You definitely do. Because that has your typography and your color palette.
Okay.
So that'll be a good baseline for it to start with.
Okay.
And you're also going to want to let it know that we're going to be using Tailwind CSS instead of just vanilla.
Okay.
All right.
Just give me a second. I'm adding all this stuff, okay?
Hey, take your time. All right. Now that I got the React components working, let's go over here. Make sure I'm not overlapping. So you see over here, it's importing Lucid React, which is good because I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been having a lot of issues with different React components, especially what is it, Fiber 3? There's one of them that's been bugging me. All right, 51 lit fit. Yeah, as you can see, this is one of the things I was talking about right here with the auto rules. So lint errors are automatically being fixed because I hate having to go back and they're all being sent to Cascade and being dealt with. So next.
Babe, Claude wants me to remove some files from the GitHub.
Yeah, probably the client assets is too big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So just remove the whole thing?
no, yeah, unclick the whole client assets folder. That was just to send it over to you so I didn't have to iCloud it.
I don't want Claude to look at those.
They're not important.
Okay.
Continue. What have we got going on over here? Where's my kilo? He's been working for a while. API request. The thing I like about this is going to show you, you know, the actual token usage. Not using Claude code right now or agent. Let's get this. There's a configuration file. Now, I want to accept these and that. All right. So over here, we're doing the React hooks, getting all of that installed. So this we can see right here with the flow. This is what I'm talking about with the solo. So this one, I mostly just give it, you know, like package installs and things like that. So I don't have to sit here and worry about that while I'm over here doing this with the other things. All right. Set all these. All right. Turn console options. That. Kilo Code's actually a new toy that I just picked up from one of my alumni over at Justice to Code. And I gotta say, I do like it a lot more than Copilot. Much easier to watch the to-dos. So as you can see, we have created a workspace configuration that's going to verify the setup. Then we're going to start going into the design implementation. So they're going to start catching up to each other. So I got to commit so they can see what's going on. End the commit. All right. Sync the changes. Take a look over here. Where's our Vercel deployment? All right, so now I can check out Vercel. 16 minutes ago, so we need to connect the Git repository for this guy. Feedback example. There we go. Now let's go to the project itself. All right, so now we can see its status is ready. We'll be able to start tracking it. We are going to enable the visitors and web analytics. So to do that, we have to add the React component. So I will find one of my guys that's just sitting here. I believe it's this dude. You are still working on something. Oh, you're waiting on me. You run. All right, so we're doing the node modules. Type check. Oh, we've got a jest set up over here. Let's start doing the buttons. These changes. There we go. Now we get somewhere. Now we're starting to get the class morphic in the React. Button attributes. TypeScript formatters. Let's get rid of the old stuff. Stuff over here. All right, little mouse, how you doing over there?
Good. Hold on.
Clear levels for a class morphic coming in. All right, we are almost at phase 2. Now we got coder going. Phase that. Got our imports over here. Typography, animations. So as you can see, I already pre-put in the dependencies. So let's go back up here. I'm going to go to the master implementation guide. All right. Yeah, so you can see from this chart the different features are all over the place. This is why I use the different IDEs. Because you'd probably be like, why does he have so many different ones running? It's not because I like all the different colors. Different agents are better at different things. So the solo builder over here, as you can see, is really good at doing the installs and making sure all the dependencies are running, keeping the log file up to date, checking all the React and everything right here. Everything's up to date. The linter, the TypeScript, the prettier. So now it's running the local environments and testing everything for me. They're still autonomous. Coder is doing all the React components for me. I've got Kilo going in and doing the fine tuning because it is much better. Like it actually beat Claude by 48.7% in a lot of the benchmark tests. So for boilerplate like this, I like to use this because I very little have to go back in and clean it up. That way I can just focus on writing the functions and the packages that I need to do. Observer, factory. Get that going. All right, so let's see what he did. So he has installed all of that. Core architecture is in. We got the validations, animations, the formatters. Component libraries are started with the button, the card, the input, and the badges. So next step is we're going to grab the import the analytics from the Vercel and all of that so that we can get analytic tracking on the web page as it's being viewed. And then we're on the final testing over here to validate all the components. Going to fix some TypeScript errors. Over here, we're doing the deployment and monitoring. Right, let's go and take a look. That's going to put the Vercel analytics in. Okay. Dependencies are getting installed over there. Take a look, see. Maybe get the changes to that. Check out deployment. We've got an error here. There we go. All right, so in the components, we have some errors. So, let's give them to, I don't think I have any more usage for him right now. Why we have multiple agents. Preview. Testimonials, huh?
Babe, I had Claude relook at what Perplexity reviewed my outline. So he's just refining some stuff. Now I'm going to give it to Copilot, okay?
Yep. Don't forget to commit and push often so I can see what you're doing.
What?
Don't forget to commit your changes often so I can merge them.
Yes.
All right. Contextual awareness. All right. Uh, commit your changes. Yep. Commit. Redeploy to Vercel. Good thing it doesn't
Hey,
matter
babe,
where
I
you
put
start.
Claude to work.
All right, talk to me. What do you got going on over there?
I'm putting him to work, so hopefully he's going to listen. He's got a lot to do.
Well, talk it out with me. What do you got going on over there?
Um, okay, well, I I told him that we were using Tailwind. So now he's going in and looking at the CSS because first of all, the one of the highlighted points that Claude pointed out is that we wanted to make sure that we had a clear color palette and well-defined section, the cultural emphasis and accessibility. So that's what we're working down that list right now.
All right, I have most of the framework up. I'm going to commit the changes and then let's see what else we got to work with here. That, take a look at the local host. What do we got going on here? All right, there we go. We've got the framework, testimonials, metrics. The initial fundraiser is up with the status bar of the location for the cookout. Points out the free food, free haircuts, the activities for the youth, the backpack giveaway for the students. So that's good. We'll add more graphics and stuff to it. I'm gonna let Mausi do her magic on the setup here because you can see it's kind of just thrown on the page, but we've got the color scheme the way the client wanted with the purples and the golds and the blacks. Got nice glass morphic and premium micro interactions on all of the hover effects and everything. So all in all, not a bad first deployment. So now we're going to take the errors of this one, find, okay, frozen lock file. Love that. That lock file is what's stopping the most recent deployment. This is probably what this is looking at. Install there. Okay, now I'm going to take the build error. This guy. Okay. Image is not supported by that model. Fine. Go to this guy. All right, so now we can go back up here. No, the current design is just a template. You are the UX UI designer, so you go in there, change whatever you want.
Okay.
You're driving the front end. Like I said, I just threw up the skeleton for you. So work your magic. Let me push command. Yep, run. Wow.
I'm just gonna go off what I gave Ron earlier.
Exactly. Evaluate the code base. Um, and, uh, we've got 551 areas in the tailwind branch. So you'll notice that I have little pop-ups and dings going off. That's part of how I keep track of what everything is doing. You can set that up in your automation controls. So see VS Code wants something, Kiva wants something. Everybody always wants something. All right, so now we're going to preview these changes on the local host 5173. Let's take a look. We are running. See, local. See, we compile it. Yeah, we will figure it out. Good, frozen lockdown. Huh? Copy all of this. Sending these installed. Well, that would be a big reason why it's not looking, isn't it? All right, Trey has completed. Take a look here. Done. These changes. All right, so now I got Kilo over here, basically going back and cleaning up because you're gonna have a lot of hallucinations and other stuff thrown in here when you're using this many agents. So another thing I like to do is create a series of maintenance. Can't spell the way. For IDE agents to run on subject. So let that do that for right now.
Hmm.
What's
Um,
lock files out of sync on my end. That's why. Let me type it. You and deprecated. Let's be it. What's going on?
well, the page is the fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not, mm,
Yeah, remember, it's just going to throw stuff up there. So you're going to need to go in there and zero in on that and point out that we want the fundraiser to be kind of like a preview window, the kind of live updates, kind of like the GitHub badge that you have. It's always updating your progress. But when the user
Mm-hmm.
clicks on that, it opens up the actual fundraiser page as a separate page. So we're going to probably need a stub folder for additional pages because it's going to be one of the things you're going to want to point out to it is we want this to be a multi-page site because right now it's trying to put all the components on one page and crowding them together. Make sense?
Yeah, it basically took the fundraiser and made it the page.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
While you do that, I'm going to clean up some of these dead deployment. That way, yeah, that way we don't have too much garbage in the Vercel window when we're working. Really, like multiplicity in here. I like how there's different user photos for which IDE of mine is deploying for me. There really isn't four of me. One of the good things you'll see here about Cascade is I can queue problems. So as it completes this one, it'll go right into this one. This guy going here. Check my deployment. Going to keep only the current one and take a look at the errors on that. Okay. So looks like a very simple error that we're probably just going to have to go in and manually fix. Otherwise, this thing's just going to keep going round robin with this. See what we got going on. After committing, see when it does that. So, let's move on to the next problem. Commit the changes there. Commit the changes over here. Run a type check over here. Take a look. Failed to compile. So as you can see, because the local host is deploying differently than the Vercel one, you're getting snagged up and failing to compile. So once we get the paths right here fixed, this should update to match what we got going on over here, which will give us at least the basic prototype for the next meeting with the client. Save these changes. All right, test over here. Almost there. All right, Mausi, what you got going on over there?
Um, I'm getting new instructions right now.
Okay. Rebasing.
So basically right now I made sure that lead by example is the primary, that's the site.
Mhm.
And then doing gradient background using the blues and purples, gold navigation, links and hover effects, sticky position for multiple page navigation, responsive design and mobile menu button. So I'm going to give that to Claude.
All right. So what you're saying is to reduce your token utilization, you put it through that first, and then you're gonna refine it through quad, and then you're gonna give it to kilo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good plan. Honestly, right. So yeah, this is why I prefer to use Gatecracker because you kind of branched off over here trying to fix this for cell deployment. Now that we have everything fixed, we're going to rebase and get back on track right here. So the tree is once again where it needs to be. Okay. So now we have that. Yeah, we got two more lines we gotta do. For archive TS6. Take a look at the source component 6, 6270. That's it. It's kind of good. All right. Yeah, don't worry about a branch right now because we're just doing the prototype.
Okay.
Like, quit slacking me. Just talk to me.
What?
Quit slacking me and just talk to me. We're on a live call here. Got nothing on that. Kilo. Once we clean up these merge conflict markers, we'll be fine. I'll overwrite that.
Okay, so my idea layout is not looking that bad now.
Okay.
The only thing is, I know the client asked for purple, black, and gold. There's really not black in it though. But I think the colors look pretty good though.
Okay. We can refine it.
Okay. Because I added some of the green in it, like a darker green. I think it looks all right now. I mean, we can play around with it more. Definitely show Ron what he thinks.
And you have that on the local, you haven't pushed it yet?
I have it on the localhost 3000 right now.
Okay.
I haven't pushed anything.
Well, I can't see if you don't push it.
I know, I just got it to where I like it before I show you. Okay, this is a rough draft right now, babe, so
Now we're back on track.
come on.
Now that we got the plugins in, what failed this time? Yeah, so after you push your changes, let's see what the deployment does. Let's go to big red errors. That's good. Run, run. All right, redeploying. Uh, Dispatch right there. That might be an issue too. Let's take a look. So, still deploying. Right.
I had some conflicts that I had to work out.
Okay.
So hold on a second. It's working.
Yep. see what I got snagged on the deployment. Damn Vercel Analytics. That's what set all that off, huh?
Hmm.
Oh, talking to Trey, but you're not talking to me.
What?
Yeah. Could be the most boring recording ever.
I think Copilot's stuck.
All right, reset him.
Mm.
All right, load into Vercel. And after that, we'll be able to view our changes and then probably take a break to wait for our token utilization to reset. Close them off file again. Why are we back to that? Don't need that.
Babe, something happened when I tried to push it. There was all these different errors, and now when I'm trying to reload the page to actually see it because I stopped Copilot because he
Mm-hmm.
was just going around in circles. Now I have a blank page and it
All right, so you pull and make sure you're up to date. Because you should see this, which is not what I told it to do. But at least we got some color now. Analytics is working, so that fixed the lock file problem. All right, good. So a little hiccup there with the Bristol Analytics. That solved. Lock file was stopping the deployments. So you should be able to do a git pull and update and go from there, and then merge your changes.
is that what was happening?
I'm not sure. haven't seen any pushes or pulls from yours, so like I don't have a pull request or anything from you. I don't know why there's this. What is this crap? All right, so yeah, hour and a half to deploy a prototype to junior devs, 12 AIs. Not too shabby. Wave to the camera, honey.
What?
Future 10X and
Hi.
all right.
Hi.
All right. Straight dog syndication, signing up.